For most of my life, I believed that loneliness was a problem that other people could help me fix. I thought that the cure was to find my tribe. If I could just find the right people, the my loneliness would finally disappear, right? But as I go deeper on my spiritual journey, I realized that loneliness is not a problem to be fixed at all. Instead, it's a loving invitation from your soul to connect with it more deeply. So, what do I mean by this? Loneliness isn't caused by feeling disconnected from other people. It's a result of feeling disconnected from yourself. We feel lonely when we are not connected with our soul. You see, for most of my life, I've been quite the loner and outsider. When I was a student, I was that quiet person in class that others don't want to sit next to on the bus. People would feel stressed starting a conversation with me because I didn't have much to say. And I was kind of invisible. I always felt like I was on the outside looking in, watching other people having a good time without me. And so I felt lonely, like I didn't belong anywhere. Initially, I thought the cure was for my loneliness was to find friends I could truly connect with. You know, those people who just get you. Because that is what the society always tells you to do, right? We see videos that say social isolation can harm your mental health. We need to join communities. So for years, I moved from one group to another, always looking for the perfect fit. People with the same interests, same gender, same personality types. And every time I join a new group, I would feel hopeful. It would be fun at first, but over time, I would feel lonely and disconnected again. I could be in a large groups of friends and family, and I'll still feel lonely. This cycle of hope and disappointment went on for years, even after my spiritual awakening, until I had a big realization. I was the common denominator here. I was the one constant in every group. I realized the problem wasn't with the people I was with, it was with me. And I finally understood that the real pain I felt wasn't from disconnected from others. It was from feeling disconnected from myself. When I was busy when I was busy trying to find friends to connect with or to understand me deeply, I was focusing on others instead of spending time connecting with myself. I was abandoning myself. And that's why I felt lonely. You, you see, loneliness is not about whether you have people around you or not. It's not about whether people understand you. It's about whether you are connected with your own spirit. When we are feeling lonely, it's a sign that we are disconnected from our spirit and looking at life through the eyes of our ego instead. This internal disconnection is caused by the mental story we tell ourselves. If we believe that other people would understand us or that we can't trust them to listen without judging us, then we won't tell them how we really feel. We won't share what is truly going on in our life. And this is a vicious cycle, right? When we withdraw and hide, people don't get to know us and we feel even lonelier. And these stories we tell ourselves often comes from our childhood experiences. I remember when I was young and would get left out or wasn't noticed, I would think that there's something wrong with me or there's something wrong with wanting to be alone. I felt I needed to be more social. And it wasn't just shame, it was also envy. I was taught that being in a group meant happiness, and seeing other people happy while I was on the outside made me wish I could be more like them. And you know what the worst part was? I actually liked being alone and doing my own things, but society and parents kept telling me it was wrong. It wasn't even intentional sometimes. My mom will ask the student in front of me in the assembly hall to be my friend because she was worried about me. And I thought there must be something wrong with me. It's like I don't know how to make friends, and I need my mom to like ask the person in front to be my friend. People say that social isolation can cause mental illness and depression, but that isn't exactly true. What causes the pain is the crazy story we tell ourselves, and we believe them to be real. Stories like, I'm not good enough for others, there's something wrong with me, people don't like me, or I'm boring, or I'm unlovable. They didn't text me back, so it must be my fault. When we believe those thoughts are true, that's what truly causes the feeling of disconnection and loneliness. When you feel lonely, your soul is actually inviting you to get closer to it. But the problem is, when we try to connect with our soul, we are often held back by our thoughts and emotions. You have to go much deeper than that mental and emotional level to really reach your soul. For most of us, when we feel that first hint of loneliness, we will run to other people or things like social media to help us feel better. Being with ourselves and just noticing our thoughts and feelings can be very uncomfortable if we don't know how to handle it. It's easy to get lost in the story our ego tells us and be overwhelmed by our feelings. And it's so much easier to just run to a distraction, right? Like social media or friends to avoid how we're actually feeling. Now, I'm not saying that being with friends or in a community can't be a joyful experience, but in those moments, you miss the opportunity to connect with your soul on a much deeper level. Those external connections can become a distraction from connecting with yourself. Even after spiritual awakening, I still believe in the myth of finding your tribe. I thought if people don't understand me, I just need to find people who do, right? People who have also awakened. But this also made me unconsciously believe that joy was somewhere else. It was on the other side, inside that perfect group that will finally make me feel like I belong. And it's not, the joy is not here within me. It's like finding a perfect mate, right? You keep wanting to find that elusive perfect mate that doesn't exist. Finding your tribe is also the same thing. You're trying to find a perfect tribe that doesn't exist. Once I truly understood that my loneliness was a problem of disconnection from myself, I knew I couldn't solve it by going out and joining another group. I had to do the exact opposite. I had to go inwards and connect deeply with myself. And that is when my hermit journey began. So ever since COVID period in 2020, I started living a more hermit lifestyle. As a self-employed content creator, I was already used to spending my days alone. But for the last 2 years, I took it much deeper. I had to make some very conscious choices. When I felt uncomfortable being alone, I would sit with that feeling instead of reaching for my phone. I started my day with meditation, not social media. I don't use social media that much anymore. I also don't post much about my life on social media. I would take long walks in nature without any podcasts or music, just listening to my own thoughts and the world around me. And if I was feeling low, I would be lying on my bed watching the sky, and I would just be with my inner child and offer it some comfort. At first, this is very challenging. All the old feelings of insignificance and loneliness will come to the surface. But by not running away from them and simply observing them, they slowly started to lose their power. And as I continued my daily practice of solitude, the deeper purpose of this phrase became very clear to me. I felt that my spirit was calling me more inward to be really in touch with my intuition and to develop my psychic abilities. This was a time for more introspection and a deeper connection with spiritual energy and guidance from the other side, like the angels and the spirit guides. Even when I bought my first tarot deck, and I asked asked the deck for the main message it wanted to give me, the first card I drew was the Hermit. I feel that the main theme of my soul journey is about solitude, being independent, and making my own path. This is what I truly love to do. And it lines up perfectly with my numerology, the life path one. And so it's kind of interesting because my whole life, all those time of feeling left out actually prepare me to face this isolation and hermit phase much more easily. And once I get it, once I was in touch with that soul purpose, I felt more aligned and being alone didn't affect me that much anymore. Of course, I'm saying this based on my own journey. Everyone would have a different journey. Some of us came to this life to experience community, while I feel that my journey is more of a solo one. Even if a phase of isolation isn't your main theme of or life purpose, many of us will still go through it on our spiritual journey. That's because solitude is still one of the best ways to truly connect with your spirit. So if you remember one thing from this video, let it be this. Loneliness isn't a sign of rejection or that something is wrong with you. It's actually a sacred invitation, a direct call from your soul, asking you to finally stop searching for a home in other people or elsewhere and to come home to yourself. The friend you have been searching for has been there all along. For more insight on this, you can watch this next video.